thoughts and experience of using the Kindle Paperwhite and how it helps me to continue on my minimalism journey, as well as supports my wishes to live more waste-free. Now, I know I had a lot of questions and reservations before I got this item, so if you have any, leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. And also, if you've had your own experience or thoughts with this product, share them, because it could be really helpful for someone else. Now, I'm just going to tell you that I really love it, and pretty much most of what I'm going to talk about is positive in this video. So I have been using it for nearly 2 months now. I am someone who is dyslexic. I had a really hard time reading all through primary school and high school, and even after high school. I've never been able to engage in it very well, and I was never really able to read unless I was kind of forced to read because of school. So it's been really nice to suddenly be someone who does enjoy reading and gets a lot out of it. A part of it is to do with the fact that I'm reading books that I'm genuinely quite interested in the content. So I read a lot of books about minimalism and decluttering and trying to live more simply and things like that. So that obviously helps with the motivation to read. But I think another dynamic for me about when I use the Kindle rather than when I read a physical book is, with a physical book I can see how far I am through the book, and I can see how much further I have to go. And often for someone like me who struggles with reading, it can feel like this overwhelming thing that I have to conquer to try and just continue to keep going through the book. Now, I know that the Kindle does share with you like the percentage that you are through a book, so let me see if I can bring it up. So you can see that I'm like 17% through that book, and the next one I'm 18% through. So it does show you that percentage, but I feel like that's somewhat motivating. And then like obviously when you finish the book, like these ones here, it says 100%. But yeah, I find that a motivator, because I can say, alright, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna read another 2 more percent. Like I'll tell myself how much more percentage I'm gonna get through in my book, and I find that really helps me to motivate myself and keep reading. So I really like that about the book, the Kindle, rather than using physical books. Now, of course, there are lots of different like technical things about this you can look up online, so like the pixels in the thing, and you can learn about how the screen actually works and things like that. But basically, I'm going to tell you that I wasn't sure if Paperwhite meant Paperwhite, and I can say that it basically does mean that. So this is, you know, it's sort of daylight, and this is it on like setting 3. I can take it down to setting 2, and you can see that, yeah, it does just look like, you know, somewhat of a normal book, and that the pages are roughly the same as if I, sorry, I'm just gonna ruin my stack over here, but the pages of the book look similar to that of just, you know, like a normal book. You know, there's not a lot of difference going on here, and I really like that. I mean, you can, of course, there's like this settings button up here, so you can hit that, and you can see like, yeah, that you can move it all the way up, so you can, sorry, it's tricky to do this and show you on the screen, but yeah, you can move this all the way up to here where it's really bright, and you can bring it back down. So even at nighttime, I basically have it around 6 and when it's pitch black in my room, and then throughout the day I take it back down to 0 or 1. And so the Paperwhite thing is real, it's legit, and I really love it because it isn't like when I'm on my phone or my computer. I really don't like being on screens and having the like backlighting and the LED sort of thing going on, and so I really like that I can sort of have, even though this is a screen technically, it doesn't do the same effect, and it definitely allows me to go to bed, you know, like it doesn't like stop me from getting tired. I know like if I'm on my phone on Instagram or something like that, it will definitely keep me awake. Those lights will keep me awake, whereas this, yeah, it doesn't do that. It allows me to go to sleep, which is really, it's great. I like that. It helps me to like wind down, and I do read this every single night before I go to bed. I also really love the fact that you can download a sample. So for me, when I go to bookstores, I often find like it's like pressure to try and find a book so that you don't have, you won't necessarily come back to the bookstore tomorrow. It might be another couple of weeks before you get a chance to go back, and so I always find there's like a pressure to buy a book when I go to a bookstore so I have something to read. Whereas this way, because you can download free samples of every book, you can read a little bit, see if you can like it, and because I'm also in the comfort of my own home, I can do a little bit of research, like is this a book I'm actually interested in reading. So I really enjoyed that. aspect of the Kindle as well. I don't feel like the pressure of being in a store and like, oh, I better get something otherwise I have nothing to read. So I really like that it's kind of 24/7. I can access any book that is on Amazon, which is really helpful for me. I also find that because I'm in a rural area, like I said, it's not always going to be easy for me to get to a bookstore, and often the bookstores that are around here are sort of like privately owned and somewhat more expensive. Like this book I purchased, I got it for like $22 or something like that in the bookstore, and I looked up this book on Amazon and it was only a couple of dollars. So you get it for a lot cheaper often. And I know obviously there's an initial buy-in, so the Kindle is like $120. Now I got given it as a gift, so I didn't have to do that initial buy-in. But yeah, if you do have to like spend the $120 and then buy books, you'd have to read through quite a lot of books for it to make up for the cost, but you would get there eventually if you are a passionate reader. So those are some of the elements that I really like about it. In terms of minimalism and how it's helped me there is, so all these books that you see behind me, I'm actually planning to donate now. So some of them, like my Hygge book here, as well as my Goodbye Things, and the 2 Con Marie books that I have, I really loved, and I kept because one day I was like, I'm gonna reread something, or I'm gonna want to reference something, and I want to be able to have the accessibility of looking at these books that I really like. And I've just held on to them, even though I've reread this one a couple of times and I've referenced like 1 or 2 things, but to have to hold on to like these heavy physical books, especially for me who's like living overseas and likes to travel a lot, is just not very helpful. Obviously, like the size and weight thing is obviously an element of it as well. So like this is my Kindle, and like, you know, the size is so much smaller, and I just have this on me all the time. I can just take it anywhere I go and it's just not a problem. So I really like that element of it. And yeah, so I'm able to get rid of all these books. These 3 books down the bottom are actually for school, and I repurchased this one. I have these 2 downloaded for free, but I haven't had to buy them yet because I'm not currently using them in school. But when I do, I will buy them again because I actually find it just more helpful to have them on the Kindle. You can do this thing where you actually highlight like a section that you want to reread. For example, it's like, oh, this is really, like, sorry, I'm trying to do this for you and not really do it properly, but like you can highlight that and you go, that's a really important quote that I need to know, and you can have that highlighted, and then you can go to your it will then take everything that you highlight and it will put it into a thing called clippings, and then in here it will have, the page number, exactly where it was that you highlighted that thing that you felt was important. And I find, especially for when I'm reading school books, this is so helpful because then it compiles all the things that I will reference possibly in an essay into one area. So if you can get school books on this, it's actually really beneficial. And I really like that about it. And of course, it's just lightweight and simple, and I just never have to sort of worry about trying to find a good book to read because it will always be there, and I can take my time to decide if I want to get a book. And like I said, you can get the free samples and things like that. Now, in terms of waste and how it supports me there, of course, I'm not contributing to buying books that are brand new printed. Now, I know that a lot of people who are trying to be more waste-free, also same with minimalism, people who go to libraries, for example, and rent books from there, which is great. A lot of the books that I do read, though, are often minimalism books, and it's quite a specific niche, so I wouldn't necessarily find them at a library. And the same with secondhand, for example. I could purchase secondhand, but a lot of the books, maybe I'd find the Con Marie ones if I was lucky, but a lot of the other books that I'm interested in, I probably wouldn't be able to find secondhand, so it means I have to pay full prices to be able to get the books that I am interested in, and at a brand new printed bookstore kind of thing. So that's one element of how it helps me to be more waste-free. Another element is the packaging it came in. So it came with this one hardcover on the outside, then it has this box and inside the box it's actually made with all paper, and then this piece of paper instructions, and then it came with this one piece of plastic on it. That's all the plastic it had, and that was covering to protect the Kindle itself. And then it came with a cord. So this is the cord that I charge it with. I just plug it, it's USB, I plug it into my computer, and I've had this for 2 months. I charged it when I first got it, and I've charged it one other time since then, and even when it says it's going to be low battery, it still lasts for like a few days after it starts giving you those warnings. So it took a long time for it to die, even when it was saying low battery. So those are some of my favorite things about this product. I would definitely recommend it if you're trying to be more waste free. I would definitely recommend it if you are trying to keep things simple and minimized, and I would definitely recommend it if you are a traveler, someone who travels, and yeah, you can just have everything you need in this one little technological item. And I am so impressed with, yeah, how good quality I have experienced it to be. So you can look up all the specific details of the product online. This is just my personal review, and yeah, I don't know, I just am so happy with this product. I think because it's encouraged this want to do reading, which I just never had before. So I really appreciate that about the Kindle, because I was just not much of an avid reader. And yeah, it looks exactly the same as a normal book. I just, you know, the one thing I will say is I do know that people love that feeling of holding a book in their hand, and yes, this is not that, but all the benefits outweigh that one thing that I maybe miss a little bit, but not really that much, because when you have a really heavy book and you're reading it, it actually just hurts your wrists. So anyway, I will stop rambling on. Please leave me your thoughts and ideas and questions in the comments, and I will get back to you there. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!